Hey, what's up YouTube? This is the TimeWizard here, coming at you guys with my 2014 Philadelphia YCS report. So before I get into this video too much, if you guys are just looking for my deck profile of what I took for the YCS, it will be in a link in the description below. Of course, I took my Constellars. I did really well with them, so if you want to go check out my deck choice, my card choices for the deck, as well as the side is included in there. For the most part, I'm saving this video for how the day went, and I'm going to elaborate into my matchups. Let's talk about the day a little bit. It was an awesome experience. For people that have never been to a YCS, it's pretty much like just a really big regionals. That's the best way I can explain it. Like, there were more vendors there, but for the most part, it was like the same stuff they were selling. Nothing too crazy. If you wanted to sell your cards, you could go over there. Check out what other people were offering. But it was just a really big regionals, honestly. It's my first YCS, so I wasn't really expecting anything different than just a regular regionals, but it was really good. The best way I probably should do this is just start from the beginning and just go throughout the day. But first thing, check-in was really quick. A big thanks to like the staff was there. They made it much easier than what I'm used to at like regionals. It was just probably because they had more people on hand there. They were able to get everyone to move quickly. You were able to fill out your forms and hand them in and get your packs and go sit down. You had ample time to go and trade with other people and talk to other Yugi tubers that were there. Speaking of the Yugi tubers that were there, I saw MCole40, Underworld 666, Dark World Mofo, I believe, was there. As well as some of the like Yu-Gi-Oh celebrities, or if you want to call them that, the people that like top consistently. Fraser Smith was there. I think he was judging or playing. I know he does both. Patrick Hoban was there. I actually have a story about that later. I got to interact with him for a little bit. Yeah, they just had a big supply of people there. It was the turnout was 1,410 people. All right, so first round I played against Heretic Ruler. I ended up 2-0ing the guy. Honestly, it wasn't that tough of a matchup. I just was able to make Pallades each turn, and like every time he went for a big play, he just couldn't do anything. He did say it was Heretic Ruler, although I did not get to see any of the Heretic portion. I think I saw Silva's Cry a couple times, a trade-in for a Water Dragon. Like, he wasn't able to make his plays. I guess he just wasn't drawing anything, so honestly, I thought it was a pretty easy matchup. Round 2, I ended up playing against Bujins. This actually was an ARG judge. I apologize, I do not remember his name, but this duel was a bit interesting compared to the others. One, this guy was very particular and about how things went down in the duel. Like, at one point, I think it was game 3, I was shuffling his deck, and I thought I accidentally dropped one of his cards, and I looked down to make sure I didn't drop anything. And it's not like I was shuffling his cards like upside down or anything. Like, I wasn't looking at him or anything. But he sort of jumped on me right away when I looked down to make sure I didn't drop anything. I was going to keep shuffling his deck to make sure, if that was the case. But he was just like, please look at me, or, look away from my deck. Don't look at it when we're shuffling. Like, didn't seem very angry about it, but he just was quick to jump on me about that small thing. And I had a question about Bujin Yamato, whether the effect goes off immediately when he goes to the end phase, like if I can change something to bounce it back or whatever. Like, I was just confused on when Yamato's effect kicks in, he was being really weird about it, but I'm like, all right, I understand you can't answer what I'm trying to ask, so I'm just going to go ahead and activate Pallades effect regardless, just so you can't send. I think it was a main phase 2 before we agreed it was the end phase, but I don't know, he just seemed very particular in the stuff that was going on. And we actually had another judge walk by and give us both a warning for slow play. I guess apparently the judges are trained to watch. If you take more than 10 seconds to like think over a move, you get like a warning or something. And even after the judge for the event left, I asked him, I'm like, I didn't think we were slow playing. Did you? And he's like, no, like I don't understand why he walked over. Like we were both like really surprised they said that to us, but they gave us like a time extension of 3 minutes or something. It was, I don't know, it was really stupid. I don't know why they bothered even talking to us about that. I'm pretty sure there was like 10 minutes left in the round still, and we were like well within game three and like almost done with it. Anyway, so I ended up losing that. Bujin's just kicking Stellar's ass. Just a really tough matchup. Came down really to the wire there, but he 2-1 me. So round three, ended up playing against Mermail. Go figure, it was another judge, not ARG, just he judges regionals. I apologize once again, I don't remember what his name was. Actually, I could tell you what his name was over there, but it's probably no relevance. But he was playing Mermails, and that also went into a game three. He ended up 2-1 me. He was playing that new Mermail build with the Gen X controllers and the Undyne in it, and I wasn't too familiar with that build, and I didn't realize Undyne its effect is a cost right away. So I flipped macro, and he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna send what is it, infantry or whatever, and just pop that. I'm like, fuck, but I managed to stop like his Leo plays and whatnot. So he really couldn't put big hefty monsters on the board. He did make a Draco sack at one point, but then I Starleash Paladino it because he threw it in defense, and then that was pretty much rendered useless the rest of the game until I killed it. It was a really good match. He was a really cool dude, I will say that. He wasn't a dick and really up in your face like some of these other people I ended up playing. I'm not going to mention names or anything, like I said, but that's how that went. So at this point, I'm feeling a little crappy, losing two in a row. Yeah, I was thinking about dropping at that point, but I'm like, you know what, I'm going to stick it out and see what happens, and I went on a pretty good streak. From this point out on, I started to win a lot more. Round four, sorry if I'm looking off the direction, I'm trying to read this because the freaking screen keeps changing. I played Majolches and ended up 2-0ing them, and he managed to go for Angeli each game, and like there was so much hype behind Madolches because they got Angeli. They're like, oh my god, they can just put so much damage on the board, and they go tiramisu and like bring out all this other crap. I'm like, I know they can do that, but like I managed to like stop his hoot cake. I stopped like Angeli. Like what? Like I don't see what the hype is behind Madolches. You break their line of command like for the combo, and it just it stops them right there. Like as long as you have an answer to like stop like the hoot cake or the Angeli, it's like they got nothing. And I just couldn't understand what the whole hype behind that was. Like it was a really easy matchup, to be honest. Round five, I played against Dragons. I don't think it was Heretic Dragons. That actually ended up going into 3 rounds. I ended up 2-1 in them. I can't really remember too much about this duel in particular. Actually, I remember. All I do remember is this last little segment of game 3 of that round. He brought out a Felgrand. It had 1 material on it, and I had a bear and a Tenki on the field, and then it went back to my turn. And for some reason, I don't know, I can't remember how the bear was still on the field after he brought out Felgrand. I must have had something else, like a Pallades with no materials or something. But I just go, okay, bear's effect, and he negates it, and then I just bring out another monster, and then I just go 101, and he was a little salty, to be honest. Like, I hate using 101. It just seems like one of those cheap cards. Like, it's like an easy out to stuff. But I'm like, yeah, I could have made, like, plenty of other stuff to, take care of your Felgrand. I could have made, like, Starleash Paladimo. I could have made, Heartland Draco and attacked you for 2k directly to finish the game off. But he was alright, but he was a little pissed off. I don't blame him. Felgrand, you feel secure with that, and I just sort of took care of it pretty easily. That was round 5, I believe. Round 6, what did I play? Oh, I played Mendolce's again. I ended up going into 3 games of that, and 2-1 him. Uh, I just drew all the answers. Throughout the whole day, I drew answers for everybody. I was always siding in Macro, Fissure, and Soul Drain just because all the decks I was playing against really relied on their graveyard. And, like, I think I brought out Thunder King and I set, like, 4 back row and I flipped, like, I had a D Fissure on the field. And, like, he was getting a little pissed off and I had, like, a set macro. He managed to get rid of the D Fissure, I think, after, like, 3 or 4 turns, and then I just flipped the macro, and he was just really feeling the burn. He was getting really salty, but like I said, I don't blame him. Like I literally had the answers for everything he had. Blackhorn, whenever he was about to make a play, just couldn't do anything. Same deal with that game. When Angeli, I stopped the play with that, and like it just fell apart. Like still don't understand why the hype is about that. So that was round 6. Round 7. This was a bit of a funny round because I ended up playing against Fire and Ice Hand Synchro Plants or something. I think there was talk about a shooting Quasar uh, deck that was floating around, and I didn't know anything of it, and I didn't bother asking about it because it's like, okay, it's Quasar. Like, if they're gonna, try and go for Quasar, I'm just gonna stop, their whatever materials they use to make Quasar. I'm just gonna, Black Horn of Heaven, one of those, and then they'll be done. But I honestly, I only saw the Fire and Ice hands, and at one point he had that level 2 plant Earth Monster Nettles, I think it's called. That he was it 1-for-1, discarding that and then special summoning Spore, and was trying to do some shenanigans, and I stopped that, and I was so confused at that point. Like I was like, what is this he's playing? He just managed to sit behind the Fire and Ice hands, and I just kept poking him, and eventually I finished the game off. I don't think he drew into his sides at all at any point, and I just managed to finish off the game before there was still 20 minutes left in the whole round before we finished. And I told him upstream, I'm like, not to sound rude, dude, but what are you playing? I didn't know what to side in for you. I think I sided Macro and Fissure just because I saw the plants, and I know you sort of need the graveyard for that, and plus you play the hands. And he told me then it was the Quasar deck, and I'm like, oh, is this what it does? It doesn't seem that great. It seems like you sort of just blow your load at once, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and it doesn't seem like it works all that much. So at this point, I am, I think, X2. So I'm feeling pretty happy about myself going into round 8, and I'm so hyped. I'm in the top 100 tables there, and at this point, everyone's pretty much been weeded out. So I'm getting really excited. I'm like, oh my god, I might top. So of course I ended up playing against Spellbooks, and I ended up losing that match. Spellbooks just were really tough. They're still a good deck. I just haven't seen them on such a long time. I honestly didn't expect to have them there. I had the DNA surgeries, but I never got to see him. He actually ended up game 3. Actually, before I say that, game 2, I managed just to OTK him. I just had a bunch of monsters in hand. I kept going. I think I went Sombre, Pollux, Algaiti, Koss, and I had a Pleiades on board. And I'm like, all right, attack, attack, attack. And he's like, is that game? I'm like, when I make Cowboy, it will be. And he's like, okay, scoop. And we immediately went into game 3. The guy was really cool. Pretty young too, to be honest. For I don't know. I just feel whenever I see the top tier tables or the higher up tables, it always just filled with people my age or older. I didn't expect to see someone a bit younger than myself. He looked like he might have been 15 or so, but shout out to him for sticking it out there and being as well as he did throughout the day. But back to what I said, game 3, he opened up, I think, all 3 priestesses, and he even told me once he drew his beginning in hand, he's like, yeah, this is a really awkward hand. And like I didn't have anything special either, but he managed to draw his third spell. I think I went. No, he went first because I won the last round. He ended up drawing his third spell, special summoned one priestess, and I think set like one card. I think it might have been wisdom, and then he passed. I managed to make like Pallades bounce back priestess. I'm like, okay, he probably doesn't have all that too much left, and I poked him for that 25. And then he just dropped all three priestess on me. I was just like, well, yeah, that's gonna be game right there. So he ended up sacking me with three priestess, and it was pretty crazy. So now the thing about Patrick Homan, if you guys remember me mentioning that in the beginning, he was actually playing right next to me, and I thought that was the craziest thing. I'm like, wow, this guy that I watch occasionally on the ARG circuit on like Twitch and stuff, like he's sitting right next to me. Like that's pretty crazy. Like, and every like once in a while, I'd glance over at his duel when nothing really significant was happening in mine and see what was going on. He was playing dragons. I don't know what specific kind, if it was just regular dragons or just heretic dragons. But at one point, I believe I saw him going for a Felgram with a tree and water dragon there. But even at one point, like I thought it was really strange. Like I heard him talking to his opponent, and I sort of listened in because I was just curious. He was getting a little like angry like in a sense like I've never heard anyone get angry over like in a card game. Like he was talking about like he said something that I believe like I told you for the last time, don't shuffle my deck like that, and he was getting like so frustrated. I'm like, wow, like is he getting really this pissed off over like him shuffling his deck? And I like was watching the guy. I'm like, he's not shuffling it like any weird. It's not like he's bending your cards or anything. Like I don't understand. But then again, I wasn't paying attention fully, so maybe the guy was shuffling his cards the wrong way. Like maybe he was like trying to like take a sneak peek at what the bottom card was by those people that shuffle like completely vertically and their eyes shift around, that BS. But I don't know, it seemed like he was getting fairly angry with the guy, and I just thought, it's just a card game, man, just take it easy. But whatever. I actually, after I finished my duel, if you guys don't know this, his favorite card is also the TimeWizard, and he has one of those original classic from like the 1990 original Yu-Gi-Oh card game, TimeWizard, and I always thought that was the coolest thing. I've seen it, like him playing, like having it on his extra deck online, and like I think his duel just finished like literally right after mine, and I just was just like, hey, dude, just saying, the TimeWizard, that's pretty cool, like. It's also my favorite card. I was just a brief like conversation with him, and he actually was pretty excited when I said, the TimeWizard was my favorite card too, and he's like, oh, you have some? I'm like, I'm sorry, they're not for trade, but he's like, oh, that's all right. Yeah, he seemed all right, but it was just sort of weird sitting next to him when he was getting really frustrated. Like I was like, I sort of just want to leave the room now. This is an awkward situation, but. Yeah, I ended up dropping after that, so ended up going to X3 for the day. Never played the 9th round. I was pretty tired at that point, a whole day of Yu-Gi-Oh! It feels like you're taking SATs all day, and it was too much for me. So, didn't even bother sticking around for the second day, me and my 4 other buddies. But I ended up placing 300th and 11th out of, the 1,410 people, so I'm pretty happy with that. Like for my first YCS, I feel like I did really well, and from there I'm just going to keep on improving and doing better. So I couldn't ask for a better day. It would have been nice to top, but well, maybe next time. So as always, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Is that your favorite number, Mr. TCG?
Is that a video?
Yeah, this is a video.
Okay.
Hey, it's Second State. Go sub to his channel. Yeah.